My name is Lindsay Becker. I'm a physical therapist in Columbus, Ohio, and I wanted to, I obviously work with a lot of golfers, so I wanted to show a couple exercises for golfers, reasons why a lot of times they get injured and how we can use the CLX band to help kind of correct some of their deficiencies. So one of the most common problems that I see when I'm first evaluating a golfer is that they have bad posture. So my lovely model here, golfer, a lot of times when they set up for to the ball, they tend to be a little rounded through their back, all right, and kind of bent like this, and so they don't really know how to actually hip hinge and move through their hips. They only move through their back. And so you can tell them, hey, I want you to like move your hips more, and they literally have no idea what to do. So can I give them some feedback to try to help with that? So using the CLX, what I'm going to do, go around her hip, and then looping on the other foot. So now it's going around her hips, kind of around her knees. And so she has that feedback, thank you, to when she bends over, pressing her hips into the band. Good, and getting that hip hinge movement, and then coming back. Good, instead of moving through her back and not understanding how to actually weight shift and hip hinge through her hips. So that's our first exercise. Thank you, ma'am. The next thing, beyond the posture, is getting a correct backswing. So one of the common problems is that when people, this is going to be my awesome golf club, when people take their backswing, instead of being nice and loaded onto their right side, they tend to kind of like bend back and sway a little bit, right? Which can put increased stress on your back, it can put stress on the hip. So we want to teach them how they can load onto that side. So what I'll do is, Sue, I'm going to have you put your left knee down on the pad and right leg in front, so in a half kneel position. And I want you to hold a wide grip. So, yep, right hand here, left hand here. Good, okay? And from here, not quite that wide, all right? From here, you're going to perform a lift action, all right? Yep, good. And so if she tries to lean back towards the target, so towards her left, she's gonna fall over, right? So it kind of forces her to rotate into her right side, load into that right hip, and into the right, her right torso. Thank you, ma'am. So we start with that exercise. Then we're gonna try to make it a little bit more golfy, if you will, all right? So what I'm gonna have you do is putting her around here. There we go. All right, and then I want you to put your hands through there and holding your golf club. Out like this. So now when she tries to take her backswing, it's hard for, this promotes a rotational force for her to actually rotate instead of laterally sway. And then keeping her knee in like this helps her kind of load into that right side as opposed to kind of rolling out into a sway motion. And the nice thing about the CLX is because we have the loops, you can actually use the golf club and actually still have your own grip, your proper grip with it, instead of having to hold a band in your hands and then trying to hold the club as well. Thank you. So the next problem we see in terms of golf is in the transition sequence. And so in the transition, when you're transitioning from your backswing to your downswing, we want the person to be able to initiate with their hips and just kind of drop their arms straight down on this plane. So if you come up on this plane, you drop down in the same plane. And a lot of times the common fault that we see is that people come up like this and then they do what's called over the top, or they come like this. And they're very chest dominant and they're coming over their plane of their backswing. So what we can do is, holding that, very simply, I'm going to attach this to her left foot. And then from here, you're just going to hold in, put both of the hands through there. Yep, both of your hands. Good. And then when she goes into her backswing, because the band is pulling on a straight line, when she comes to her downswing, it's going to pull her straight back onto the plane of her backswing into her downswing, so she stays on plane. Because if she would try to come over the top, that would be an unnatural movement. The band's going to always pull you back into a straight line to promote a good downswing sequence instead of coming over the top. So kind of a simple way to ensure that people don't come over the top, which is probably one of your most common faults if you see with amateur golfers. It's something that I see all the time. So the last part then is looking at the downswing sequence. So like I said, what we want to try to promote is using the lower body and the pelvis to get the downswing and not just the arms. And the way that someone's going to get more power in their golf swing is being able to utilize their hips and utilizing their pelvis. But a lot of people don't know how to do that. So what can we do to try to promote some pelvic motion with their golf swing? So, Sue, I'm going to have you face that way. And I'm going to loop this around. Fine. And then from here, bring more on your pelvis. Sorry. Okay. So from here, Sue, turn towards me on the right. Good. You get some resistance there. Okay. So when she turns to the left into her downswing, it assists her into rotation. So this is actually helping her into rotation, teaching her how to actually rotate through her hips. Good. So that's what we call an assisted movement, when the band actually gets a little longer as she's going into her downswing. Once she learns that, how to actually do it with an assist, then we can make it a resisted movement. So I'm going to loop it around kind of the other way now. And now when she turns to the left, she has some resistance. And so now we can actually make it a strengthening exercise for some pelvic rotation resistance and strengthening, so that she can increase her power, increase her speed on her downswing. And every single person that I see wants to increase their distance and their power in golf. So this is a great way to be able to do that, of just teaching the pelvis how to actually rotate.